Hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today we're looking at one thing only, and that is breaking news that came in the email yesterday, and that came in from CGC. So when we come back, we're going to dive right into this and examine this, and we will determine what it means for you, for me, for our hobby, and the competition. So come on back after the short video intro. Alright, we're back. Comic Sniper here along with my trusty sidekick Mark III. We're bringing you this email that we got from CGC. Just got this yesterday, and there's it deserves taking a look at. Okay, so because this does mean a few different things to you, me, the hobby in general, and the competition. So let's just dive right into this. And let's get this a little bit closer. Okay, what this is again, that's CGC's. This is CGC's email, and it has to do with a crossover service that they just introduced yesterday, or actually they introduced it at the New York Comic Con as a and it was embraced universally embraced at the New York Comic Con. So they're rolling it out here. Okay, so it has been expanded to include all CGC grading tiers. There's also been enhanced with two amazing new incentives. Let's move that over. Okay, first, CGC will provide free screening. It says here free screening for crossover submissions at the standard, express, and walkthrough tiers. So if you look here, this is for the standard, express, and walkthrough, so the last three. And then I'll go back up here, and then second, it says CGC will only charge a flat grading fee, of $10 for any book submitted for a crossover service that go down in grade. Okay, so that's important. So down in grade regardless of tier and value. Okay, these incentives, along with introductory crossover discounts up to 50% of regular grading fees for books that earn the same or higher grade only. Okay, making easier than ever for collectors to move their treasures comics to CGC. Okay, here are the grading tiers. So you got modern for $12, value for $16.20, economy for $22.80, standard for $32.50, express for $50, walkthrough for 1.5% of the declared value, minimum $75. So for the standard, express, and walkthrough, so the last three, the graders will screen the books in their holder for free. CGC will contact submitters with guidance on whether their books will drop in grade and whether pressing or conservation services might benefit for their books. Submitters are not charged any grading fees. They are not if they decide not to proceed with the crossover. So here's how the crossover works. Comics submitted to crossovers must be intact with another grading company's holder. Companies will be the comics will be removed by CGC from that company's holder and graded according to CGC grading standard. If the grade goes down, CGC will only charge $10 in grading fees. Books will then be encapsulated in CGC state-of-the-art holder, blah blah blah. So that's just a fancy way of saying it's going to be in their holder. Take advantage of the special limited time discounts on grading tiers to have your comics graded by CGC. Enjoy the many benefits. Trusting company over 18 years, highest price. Okay, so this is just the bonuses of having it in GC. This is important. Please note, there is no guarantee that the grade assigned by CGC will be the same as a grade assigned by other grading service. Signed collectibles submitted under the crossover service will not receive a CGC signature label. Okay, so let's break this down. There's a lot to go through here. First and foremost, okay, crossover. If you don't know what crossover is, it means with the three major grading companies out there, and then I think there's another one, but for the sake of this video, let's just say PGX, CGC, and CBC as the three major grading companies. So CGC, by virtue of this, is saying that crossover allows you to take a CBCS slab graded book or PGX, and you can submit that to CGC in their case. It says must be intact, okay, in another grading company's holder, so not cracked out or anything like that. It has to be intact, and there's no tampering. And then they will turn it into a CGC graded book for a fee, and the fee is $10 plus whatever tier you put them in. For the most part, it's, you know, modern and value are the two most used. For at least for myself, I've always just used these two. Okay. Now, what? Now, this is, you know, there is good and bad in this. Let's say for you guys that you know, love CGC, you know, or you want all your graded books to be just by one company, so there's not different cases, that kind of stuff. This is a way for you to be able to do that, and this offers another option from CGC for those of you who are wanting to have that service, who are not comfortable, let's say, for cracking your own books out with fear of possibly you know, damaging the books while you're doing that. Allows them to do it for you, and you can, all you have to do is submit it to them, and then you still have the option whether you want it graded by CGC or not. But let's face it, for the sake of this, anytime you're submitting your books to CGC, really you are going to get them to grade your books. Okay, you're not going to spend, there's extra money involved in shipping the grades out to CGC, and there's also the shipping cost of having CGC send it back to you. That is not discounted, nor is that free. So you're always going to be paying for that. So for the most part, why send out books to them if you're not really going to go through with it, and they know that. Okay, so this might sound like a good deal here, but let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look at the pricing. Now, let's say for a modern, $12. Okay, under regular grading. Okay, this is under regular grading. A modern, as you can see here, is $20. Okay, under this, if you were to submit it, it's $12 plus the $10 grading fee. That's $22. So automatically, that's already $2 more. Okay, for the value, $16.20. So that's $36.20. Under the regular thing, it's only $27. So that's quite a bit more. Now the other ones, is a little bit different. Their economy is $22.80. Here is $38, so it'd be $32.20. So this one gives you a little bit of a discount. The standard, sorry, the express is $50. Here the express is $100. So with the $10, it's $60 versus $100. Again, the higher the pricing goes, the more discount you have, and then the walkthrough is basically 3% versus here it's only 1.5% declared value. Okay, so if you're using the more expensive ones, there is some deals to be had here. But what I caution people is for this part here, where is it? It says take advantage of the special limited time. So this is the key word here, limited time discounts. So these are not going to be the same prices. Okay, well, these ones are already more, the modern and value, but the rest are all going to go up after they don't say how long. But the limited time discount is only applied for a short period of time. So if you at some point the grading services, these will go up. Now I'm not sure about the $10 a flat grading fee. I don't know if that's gonna, they didn't say anything about that, but we'll see, right? Okay, so there is now how this works. Okay, CGC will only charge a flat grading fee of $10 for any book submitted for crossover service that go down in grade. Okay, so there's another caveat here. So regardless of the tier or value. So if will only charge a flat grading fee of $10 for any book submitted for crossover. So if it goes up, so here where it says these incentives, along with introductory crossover discounts up to 50% of regular grading fees for books that earn the same or higher grade. So the CGC will only charge this grading the $10 grading fee if the books go down in grade. Otherwise, you will not have to pay this $10, according to what this is saying, if you get a same or higher grade. Okay, it makes it easier for you. So there's a chance that you can only pay $12 in this. Okay, so if you get the same grade, or if you get a higher grade, then you just pay $12 for the grading fee. Let's say for the modern. I'm only talking modern here. Okay, so that's not bad. Okay, now if but it says, of course, for the standard, express, and walkthrough label. Oh, so one more thing I wanted to mention about this. For these three, for the first three, okay, you notice it says here, CGC will only charge a flat rate for grading fee of $10 for any book submitted for crossover that will go down in grade. Okay, which means they have to actually take the books out of the package, out of the holder, and then inspect it. Versus the last three, it says here, for the standard, express, walkthrough levels, graders will screen the books in their holders for free. So which means for these last three, they don't take out the books. Okay, they just look at it through the case. Okay, then CGC will contact us. Will contact you with guidance of whether the book will drop in grade. So they're going to make a determination whether that book will drop in grade without taking it out of the case. Now, I don't know what happens if they take it out of the case and find that there's, let's say, rips or pages missing or whatever. I take it they better contact you again, right? So, because they're making a big determination about whether the books are going to have the same or lower grade based on the outside of the case. So if you decide that you don't want that book graded, I guess one thing about these standards, but they're more expensive, is you will get the books back in their original holder, I'm guessing, because they're still, remember, because they will be screened in their holder. Okay, so, and then it says submitters are not charged any grading fees if they decide not to proceed with the crossover, but you will have to pay for that $10 because it is going down in grade, as you see here. So they still, they get the $10. You don't have to pay any of this, but you still have to pay the $10, and then they'll send you back the thing, and you pay the shipping for that. Okay, so that's another thing for them. Okay, so now one of the biggest thing about this is okay, where it says here, these books will be removed by CGC from the company's holder and graded according to CGC's grading standard. Okay, for those of you, and I made a couple of videos on this already, with regards to people comparing CGC, PGX, or CBCS grades. Okay, what I've been saying all along is each company has their own standards. They do not share a standard grading, a grading standard between the three of them. Okay, which means that people who think that PGX, whether they grade lower or higher than CBCS or CGC, they must be wrong. No, they're actually, since they're grading to their own standard, they're always correct. Okay, the only time you will have them find that their grading standard is wrong is if you compare it with against their own company's grades, which means, and that's why I'm an advocate of having graders' notes for every book actually on the label, so that we all know what we're getting, and it keeps the grading companies accountable, and then therefore you can compare the book inside and the grade on the label properly against other books of the same grades that you get, or different grades across with the same company. Okay, but comparing grading company versus grading company, since they don't share the same grading standard and there is no universal grading standard across the board, makes absolutely no sense. It's like trying to compare a Toyota Camry to a let's say a Chevy whatever a Chevy is. Okay, I don't own a Chevy. or Ford Fiesta, right? You know, it doesn't make any sense because they don't share the same platform. Okay, and having let's say a different let's say car and driver, let's say they're going to evaluate one car. Well, one car and driver versus automobile magazine will use different determinations to compare those to find out how good that car is, and one might come up with a hugely different outcome than the other based on their testing standards. Same with this, the grading standards is always going, there's differences, right? We all know that grading is subjective, right? One person's eye might be different from another person's eye already, and we're subject to that. Okay, so an actual grader might see or might not see something that another grader might not see, even if from their own company. So to compare them across the board, when they specifically say CGC's grading standard, and CGC does not publish their grading standard, so you cannot tell whether a ½ inch crease will automatically give an X grade, okay, because they don't tell you that. Now people will say, well, Overstreet's guide. Overstreet's guide is Overstreet's guide. It's not CGC, PGX, or CBCS's standard, nor does Overstreet grade books, you can't submit books to Overstreet. They don't slab and they don't grade. They just put out a standard, a guide on a book. Now, whether there is some similarities between grading companies and that standard, that's just what it is, similarities, but it's not the Bible of what grading companies are using. Okay, and if you actually look at the guide, it is very vague and very generalization, and there's a lot of room for interpretation of what each grade can be. So, but anyways, I made a video that you can watch that if you want, and go through that. So, but that's what I mean by this. This is that they have their own grading standard, and they even say it here. There is no guarantee that the grade assigned by CGC will be the same as the grade assigned by another grading service, which means they are not. There's no way they can guarantee. Okay, whether you think another grading company, people have said different things like CBCS has a higher grading standard. That doesn't guarantee anything, right? So again, don't compare other grading companies to each other. Okay, that's not a good thing. All right, so that's what that is. So anyways, so all this means is this email, going back to this email, okay, and then last thing, the signature collectible submitted, of course, other people's signature verification. Since CGC wasn't there, they're not going to honor that. So I would not submit any signature series from any other books in fear of you're probably going to get a green label. And that dreaded green label. So anyways, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Okay, now what does this mean for us? Well, it's CGC is trying to do what they do best. They're trying to corner the market. Okay, now whether you're a fan of CGC or not, having you cannot blame CGC for doing this. They are trying to be the best at what they do. They're trying to offer you the most things that they can, and they're trying to make it so that their service is the only one out there for you to use. Now, by doing so, this is what competition does. Okay, it forces companies to come up with better products, better services, and at a cheaper cost. If CGC is successful in pushing out the other two companies, making themselves a monopoly, this is nothing but bad news to all of us. This is why you want CGC to do this, because this is, don't blame CGC for doing this or trying to push other companies out. This is what they're supposed to do. The other companies are going to do the same thing. That's what competition means. But okay, if you and I fall for this, or make it so that we only go with one company and then the other companies go out of business, this is nothing but bad news for all of us, because if there's no more competition and CGC becomes the only player in town, they can then reduce their quality, reduce the quality of their service, and you have no choice but to go to them. Okay, and they can raise the prices for doing that. Competition actually breeds better products, better services, and lower prices, because each one is trying to outdo themselves, and by you voting with your dollars to whoever you want to use is only good for us as a consumer. So please watch what, I'm not saying don't use CGC. I use CGC. I use all three. I have, people say, well, you can't make up your distinction if you haven't used services. I have bought and sold all three graded books. I have personally submitted and used all three grading services. Okay, I have an account with all three. So because I wanted to find out for myself how good the services are, and without any bias, I've used them all, and I'm here to tell you, each one of them, even though I predominantly have CGC graded books that I have used, I have my reasons for doing that, but I have no bias, and I don't have brand loyalty to either one of them. If PGX or CBCS for whatever reason comes up with a better product or better services or something else, I will go with that. Okay, I will definitely go with those. But at the time I need it, if I think CGC will do a better job, give me a better product, or give me what I need, that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, the difference being is if you have brand loyalty, you're ignoring the other companies specifically for no reason other than that you are biased to that fact. Okay, and by doing so, you are doing nobody a favor but the company you're being biased to. Okay, now that's your choice. I'm not here to tell you can't do that. I mean, it's called free will. You can do that, but understand what you're doing. And people have the mistaken let's say for other people out there that have sponsorship. Sponsorship is not brand loyalty. Sponsorship is a deal and a contract between two parties, one getting product and money to showcase that product, and then one company is having to pay that person or that company, sports teams, cars, stadiums, arenas, you name it, okay, to have their name and their product seen by the general public. At any time they can break off that they have a set, let's say they have that contract, but the contract can end, which means both parties do not have to abide by the use of that term anymore once the contract is end. So if that's the case, both parties benefit. One gets money in services and products, one gets advertisement and brand recognition. In a situation where you have brand loyalty, it only goes one way. The company gets your money because you have to pay for the product, and then you're showcasing their product and their name and you get nothing in return from the company. Okay, so if you are just blindly using that product and ignoring everybody else because you have that bias, then you are doing yourself and everybody else no favor, because really the company gives nothing to you. Okay, they're not buying your services, your advertising. Okay, you are giving it for free, and then by blindly doing so, you're ignoring the fact that other companies might be able to do a better job or better service for a lower price. Okay, so just watch that. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but just be careful when you do that. And I never recommend brand loyalty to anything, because again, they are not loyal to you. If they lose you as a customer, so be it. There's another customer down the road. Okay, so they didn't make a contract with you. You didn't sign any contracts with them. Therefore, why are you having to be loyal to that brand, right? Okay, so with that being said, just wanted to put this out there. Thought this would be a good topic to look over. I think this is definitely a talking point for our hobby. This is one of the things that makes our hobby great, is people like CGC. PGX has recently released the fact that they're doing graders notes on a trial basis. I know We Love Comics kind of is spearheading that. It's a great thing across the board. Okay, that should not be just one company. It should be across the board. It's accountability, guys. Okay, that's what we need from all companies. We need accountability, because when they grade our comics, we don't know what they found unless they're willing to tell us what they found. They should be held accountable, because otherwise they can just grade our comics however they want, and if they don't tell us what was in there, what they found, we are left scratching our heads. Okay, so at every turn we should be pushing for that, because if that's the case, we can then find out what determination they use to grade our comics, and what flaws we have, and we can do something about it then. Okay, so guys, at every turn I always suggest, if you have a voice, if you have a way to say it so that the companies can hear it, make sure you make your voice heard in that way. All right, but that's what I have for this video, guys. Hopefully, let me know what you think. Tell me what you think of this service. Tell me what you think about anything else that might be happening to the slabbing company, whether you're a fan of it, whether you're not, whether you've taken advantage of this service or not. Guys, let me know down in the comments below, and want to open up that discussion and talk to you about it. Okay, but that's it for now. So Comic Sniper here, along with again my trusty sidekick Mark III, signing off, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye bye for now.